Hi, this is gplace, the Director of Instruction at the Bull at Pinehurst Farms in Sheboygan Falls, Wisconsin. I'd like to share with you a young lady that came to me at the beginning of the spring season in May, and just wanted to improve on her golf swing. And I'm just going to lead you guys through exactly what I did and why I did what I did. Here's a girl that when she first came to me, she was hitting the ball rather weak and to the right. Over the summer, we were able to pick up about 15 to 20 yards on her irons, and certainly we picked up some distance with her driver too. Again, I'm just going to lead you through here. I'm going to play the original golf swing in a little bit slower than normal speed a few times and just let you take a look here. And then I'll talk about some of the changes that I made. Okay, talking about some of the changes I made. One of the things that you're going to see in her original golf swing here is her right hip on the takeaway gets a little bit high, and therefore her weight goes to the outside of her right foot. So she's losing her leverage point, and you'll notice also that her backswing gets a little bit long. Okay, so basically what that means is on the downswing, she's naturally, since she's lost her leverage point, meaning her weight's gone to the outside of her right foot, she's naturally going to start her downswing with her arms. Okay, and anytime you start your downswing with your arms, you're going to lose distance because you're going to add loft to the golf club coming into the impact position, as we see right in here. So we go a little further. She releases the club early with her hands, right in here. She adds loft to the golf club, okay, through the impact position, so she's naturally going to hit it a little bit higher and weak to the right. Okay, if we notice on her post-impact position, she's kind of hung on to the golf club. She can't really release. As much as she tries, she can't really release her forearms to rotate the club face over. The progression of what I did with this young lady was, first of all, I looked at her grip. If we take a look right there, and then we go to her new grip, you're going to see that her right hand was way out of position. Her original grip is on the left, her new one is on the right. So you can see the change that I made right there. The V that's formed between your thumbs and your forefingers on each hand, okay, the left V, left hand V, should point somewhere toward your right ear, okay, or your chin. And hers in the new swing did, or the new grip. And her right hand V is pointing over to her right shoulder. So now it looks like train tracks. If you take a look at her original grip, which is over on the left, we can't even see her left hand V. Okay? All you can do is you can see her right hand, which is actually pointing to her left ear or her left shoulder. Okay, so that's what we call a very weak position. Naturally, the club face in her situation is going to come through very open, and again, she's going to hit the ball out to the right and rather high. All right, going forward from there, let's take a look at her golf swing and kind of talk about what I did with her swing. One of the first things I did is worked on her setup and gave her a nice little drill. This was during our first lesson. The original swing on the left, you're going to see that her her right hip gets rather high right there, which causes her weight to go to the outside of her right foot. On her new setup position, I had her pretend there was a beach ball or a soccer ball between her knees and that she was pinching the beach ball together, okay, between her knees, and she was going to hold it there. So that got her to feel the weight on the insides of her feet. Okay, the second thing is we talked about the proper rotation, and to get her to do it and to feel it, which is the most important thing, is get her to feel this. I had her hold the club up near her shoulders with her arms crossed, and as she took the club back or rotated to her the top of her backswing, you're going to see a much different position with her right hip. You can actually see rotation happen right there. Let's walk through that again. You can see the rotation of her right hip and her upper torso move simultaneously. So everything was working together as a unit with the proper rotation. Now, if we take a look at the difference in those two photographs right there, the picture on the left, her original swing, you can see the weight is transferred to the outside of her right foot. You can see the picture on the right, her weight has stayed on the inner portion of her right foot, which allows her to leverage into the golf ball and use her legs, which is quite frankly, the strongest part of her body. Okay. The result of our first lesson was this right here. If we take a look at the setup position in each of these pictures, you're going to see her original swing on the left. She had a little bit more weight on her right foot, and her hands were back behind the golf ball too much. The picture on the right, what I had her do is feel as though she had 55% of her weight on her left foot and approximately 45% of her weight on her right foot on a setup position. So basically she was leaning into her left side better. Her hands naturally went forward, pressed a little bit in front of the club head or in front of the golf ball a little bit. Now as we take her original swing back to the top, you're going to see that her right hip gets real high, as we talked about already, right in there. And her new swing, if we take a look, in our first lesson, is much more compact. Okay, this was our first lesson. So she took the golf club back much shorter. Her club, her hands and her club stayed out in front of her much better at the top of the backswing, and therefore it was much easier for her to transition into the impact position. Okay, if we take a look at her original swing on the left, you're going to see her overuse her hands and arms. She'll release the club head early, which adds loft to the golf club. Okay, if you take a look at the picture on the right, you're going to see that it's very easy for her to get back to impact by simply rotating her shoulders and her hips. So she picked up a lot of distance because she was starting to hit the golf ball in the center of the face, and more importantly, she was hitting it much straighter. She was actually hitting a nice little draw by the end of the 45-minute lesson that we worked on. So that was much better. Now, getting to the post-impact position. If you notice the picture on the left, which is her original swing, she's hanging on. She's not releasing the club head at all because she wasn't able to. Okay? The picture on the right, her new swing, as she came into impact, gravity and centrifugal force allowed her club to release. Okay, and her forearms actually rotated over, her right forearm rotated over top of her left, most naturally. Okay, again, the end product was a nice little draw or a pretty straight shot that went much higher. Okay, looking at a little bit more here toward the middle part of the summer, as we wrapped up our series here. Just looking at a couple things here. Her original swing on the left. As she takes the club back to the top, you're going to see that her weight went to the outside of her right foot. Her right hip got real high. The picture on the right, as she takes the club back, she kept weight on the inner portion of her right foot. Her hands are in a nice high position. She's short of parallel at the top with her club. Now, her original swing, she has to overuse her arms. And basically she's working overtime right there and not being paid for it. She releases the club head early, which adds loft to the golf club. Her new swing over on the right, as she comes into impact, she releases her hips real nicely. She bumps to her left side, releases her hips and her core, and therefore she's able to hang on to her angle much better coming into impact. Gravity and centrifugal force will release the club head for her. Really good at impact right there. If you notice, her right knee is past where the golf ball was as she comes into impact. Right there. In her old picture, or her original swing, her right knee leg's well behind. Okay. Moving forward from here, as she gets into her finish position on her original swing or her post-impact position, she's hanging on. Her new post-impact position, she's got full extension because naturally the weight of the golf club just putting in motion, proper motion, will allow her to extend her arms much better. So just talking about where we got with her in a 2-month period. This young lady was able to shoot in the beginning of summer when she came to me. She was shooting in the low 90s, high 80s. Now she's shooting in the high 70s to mid 70s on a consistent basis, and it's a lot of it's due to some of the swing changes we made. We also worked on her short game quite a bit. So you can see what a series of lessons can do if you're working on the proper things, and I just wanted to share all this with you to show you exactly what can happen during a nice series of lessons. If you have any questions on it, or if there's anything I can answer for you, please email me at gplace, that's Gplace, at golfthebull.com. I'd love to hear from you. Again, if you have any questions, please contact me, gplace at golfthebull.com. Thank you.